What's up, everybody? I just wanted to go over some things this morning, or it's probably almost afternoon, huh? I just wanted to go over some things this morning about, let's see here, let's start off with, let's see, so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Let's see. Wait a minute here, let me get it. Okay, Moses. Let's see here. Moses. If my camera would focus. I'm not a really great speller, so sorry. Moses. Let's see here. He did the 10 Commandments. He was really cool, so I'm going to give him 5 stars. And then Mary. Let's see here. Let's see whether we're talking about. Okay, well, let's talk about Mary Magdalene. Okay, let's see here. She was a good person, but she was also a prostitute, so I'm only going to give her 1 star. John, he was the guy that baptized Jesus, so I'm going to give him. Oh no, wait a minute. Moses did mess up, so we got to take one of his stars away. He only gets 4 stars. Mary, she only gets 1 star. Because, and if you're talking about, okay, let's talk about the mom, Mary. If we're talking about Mary Magdalene, she only gets 1 star. If we're talking about Mary, Jesus' mom, she only gets like 3. And the only reason why she gets a star at all is because she was Jesus' mom. So she gets 3 stars, but she had to be corrected a lot of times. That woman had to be corrected so many times, so she only gets 3 stars. Mary Magdalene only gets 1 star. Moses only gets 4. He gets 4 because, he did the 10 Commandments, and, he did all the mountain walk, went up in the mountains and all that. But he did screw up. There was a couple of times that he didn't have the faith that he was supposed to have all the time. So I etched out 1 of his stars. Now, John the Baptist, I'm going to go ahead and give him 5. Because he baptized Jesus, and he was like one of the best out of all of them. So I'm going to give him 5. Now, David, just hold on here for a minute, so I can get my point across. Now, David was a harp player, okay? So I'm going to give him 1. He sung to God, so that was really cool. He also, did the Goliath thing. He did Goliath and all that, so I'm going to give him another 1. I'm going to give him 1 more because he's a believer and he got, to be a king and all that stuff and stuff. So, but I'm not going to give him 5 because he really rebelled. There was a time that he rebelled, so I'm not going to give him 5 stars. Okay? So, let's see here. Moses, he only gets 4. Mary Magdalene only gets 1, because, come on, she was a prostitute. His mother only gets 3. Come on, that woman had to be corrected how many times? John the Baptist, he's the only one that got 5, okay? Because he's just, he was, like, the best one out of all of them. Okay, in my opinion. David only gets 3 stars. Okay, now, as believers, is this how you guys judge people? Because I just want you guys to ask yourself a personal question as a believer. Do you find yourself doing this? Do you find yourself doing that? Because if you do, and I want you to honestly ask yourself, do you find yourself doing this to people? Believers. Believers doing this to the believers. Do you find yourself doing this to people? And using the word to analyze a person and how many stars do you guys got? How many stars I got? In my opinion, I don't care how many stars. Hi, Daria. Because doing this as a believer is wrong, and believers need to really ask themselves, are you doing this? Are you doing this to people? Hi, on Logic's music. Because if you're doing this, if you are analyzing, okay, we're supposed to be spreading the gospel to people that are unbelievers, that have rebelled against God, that don't want to believe in his resurrection and don't want to believe in that stuff. We're supposed to be working on those people, not these people that already know who he is. These people are saved, they already know who he is, and it's on them. It is on these people. I'm just using these guys as an example. But it is on these people from there out. It's their personal relationship, and it is on them. God is the judge. God is the judge. We are not to sit here and tally up each person and whether they got this, or this right in the Bible, or this, they're doing this right in the law. We do not have the right to do that. Our job as believers is to tell people about the gospel, spread the good news about Jesus Christ. That is our job as being a servant. Okay? Now, that's my point on that. Okay, now where was I going? Matthew 7:22. I'll start in Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? Matthew 23, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And other translations, it says, ye that work of the lawlessness. Okay? So, in the King James, it says iniquity, and in other translations, it says, you of evildoers, or you of lawlessness, and stuff like that. But it says up here, it says, the ones that have I not prophesied in thy name, in the name of, and that I've casted out devils, and in the name and done many wonderful works? So there are going to be people that are going to go, how could you say you don't know me and depart from me? Because I mean, I did all these things. And to be honest, I personally feel like a lot of what he's talking about here, of these people that are going to be, he's going to say, I didn't know you, I never knew you, depart from me. I feel like a majority, not all, but a majority of the people that he's going to say, depart from me, are going to be these Catholic people that worship Mary. Because most of the time of the ones that you see that are casting out devils are Catholics. Okay, because they're the ones that are, you know, I rebuke you in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and, you know, they're the ones that cast out demons and all of that stuff. Personally, that's who I think he's talking about. And they do wonderful works, like they touch people and they heal and they fall over in the ground and they shudder and on the ground and all this stuff. Like that's the other thing that it's talking about here, I feel like. And that's how I personally feel about that. Okay, guys? And we're sitting here roll calling on people is what we're doing. And it's not our right to do that. It's not okay to do that, okay? Because that's what people are doing as believers. And they're using this verse to use the law against each other. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be saving the... Are you really trying to save people that don't know who God is or are rejecting God? Are you trying to save those people? Are you just trying to psychoanalyze believers? Is that what you're trying to do? Because sometimes I wonder why people really... Because at first, when they first get saved, it's like a personal relationship. And then, after that, once people start reading and stuff more and start getting... I noticed people start getting boastful. They start getting all up in themselves, like... And they start psychoanalyzing people like this. Moses, he gets 4 stars. Mary gets 1 star. Mother Mary gets 3 stars. John gets 5 stars, because let's just face it, John the Baptist. And David only gets 3 stars. David's cool, but he did rebel, okay? So he only gets 3 stars. I mean, ask yourself, do you have the right to do that to other believers? I mean, because I thought the point of spreading the gospel and the good news was to save people, not psychoanalyze believers. Because I feel like after people get saved, then it's all onto how can I shoot this person down with the word? How can I shoot that person down with the word? And unbelievers see that. And they don't want a part of it. They do not want a part of it. And it's because of the way we're acting. We're using the Bible to fight with each other. We're using the Bible against each other instead of using it to lift each other up. Okay? Now, I'm going to go from Matthew to Mark. And let's see here. Mark. Where was the... Oh, here it is. Mark 12. I'm going to start in 28. Let me flip the phone around again. Come on, phone. Focus. Okay, my phone's not wanting to focus. So I'm in Mark chapter 12. Verse... Verse 28, and one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. How I was saying the other day, one path, one road, one God, one Lord. Okay? That's why the path is narrow. Because a lot of people want to give glory to all these other gods when there's one way, one God, one truth, one light. One real light. The devil likes to think he has a light, but he ain't got nothing. Because he ain't all that in a bag of chips. Okay? So Mark 30, and thou shalt love the Lord. So this is the first one. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Didn't say anything about the law there. Does it say... 31. And the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So there is no other commandment greater than these two right here. Because we are all sinners. So we need to love our Lord God as one Lord. One. Thou shalt love the Lord. Did these people love the Lord? I think they did. Did they love their neighbor as thyself? I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make, is we don't have the right to psychoanalyze people like this and go, how many stars did they get today? How many stars did they get tomorrow? How good of a woman is Mary? You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. That's why I say it's about your personal relationship, okay? Because when you're sitting here psychoanalyzing people with the law, not that the law is not important, but it's no different than a pastor judging me because I smoke. Do you get that? Because I was so down about my smoking habits. And I got lifted up about that. I got lifted up, oh, that's okay, right? But yet, this, and this is not okay. Now, I see a lot of people do that too, and they're like, this is okay, this is not okay, but this over here, I mean, I know that, you know, it might be a little bit of a sin, but this is okay. But all this stuff over here is not good, and I worry about you, man. I worry about you, David. Worry about you, David. But that man knew God. He had a personal relationship with him. He knew God. Even though he rebelled and he did some not so cool things, he knew God and he had him in his heart. And that's what matters. God's going to judge us off of our relationship with the Lord, our belief in what he did for us. And he's going to judge us on how we love each other. And I'm telling you right now, sitting here psychoanalyzing each other and how many stars we get that day or the next day is not it. You know what I mean? But my point is, a lot of people will say, somebody will come up and say, and everybody does this, I don't care, every believer does this, I've noticed this, whether it be my pastor or any of my friends on YouTube, every single one of us has done this. And I get tired of it because you're not loving your neighbor as yourself when you do stuff like this. So it's okay to smoke, but you psychoanalyze people and tell them, well, they might be going to hell because thou shalt have no other gods before me. Well, when they're throwing up the peace sign, or they're, you know what I mean, just like, or they're talking about angels, or, you know, like, nobody can have a spiritual story to talk about anymore. Like, if somebody doesn't believe in somebody's I said full doctrine the last video, I shouldn't have said doctrine. What I mean is if somebody doesn't believe, like, 100% in everything that they've read and studied, and if you disagree with them, then you're lost, and you're astray, and, that's when it comes into judging. That's why I say you're not supposed to judge people. And when you use the verse that's in Matthew 7:23 about, he's going to say, depart from me, you lawlessness people. He's talking about the ones that are not, it says right there, one God, one Lord. The people that are saying, oh, well, I believe in God, and I professed your name, and the Catholics are going to say that too. They're going to go, well, we talked about you, Jesus. But the problem with the Catholics is they did bow down to false idols. They are worshiping saints and Mother Mary and things like that are not supposed to be worshipped. They talk about Jesus, yeah, and that's probably what they're going to say. Well, we talked about you, and we casted out demons and stuff. You know. But when it comes to, like, having false idols and stuff like that, like the cross is a false idol. I don't bow down and worship the cross. I don't stick a cross out in the ground and kiss it. I don't sit here with my cross and go, and Hail Mary, and let me throw some some good juju over my right shoulder, and some my sins on my left shoulder, and you know what I mean, like some of this superstitious kind of stuff, you know what I mean, that if I kiss my cross and I go like this and I Hail Mary and I, you know what I mean, like stuff like that, just superstitious kind of things like that. Like, I don't do those kind of things. I'm not worshiping the cross because I have a cross, you know what I mean? But yet, I know a lot of people that are like, well, get rid of it. Get rid of it all. Get rid of your dream catchers. Get rid of all your crosses. But yet they have a cross. So I want to ask all of you, are you doing this to people? Are you really are you doing this to people and psychoanalyzing people? Is that why you're reading the word? Because you want to psychoanalyze believers? Are you reading the word because you want to come closer to God and your relationship with Him, and you want to help people that are out there that are saying, screw God, I hate God, I don't care about God? Those are the people I'm after. I'm after the ones that are like, that I used to be like, that would scream, fuck you, God. I mean, excuse me, but that's what people are saying. Screw you. I don't like you. If you were a real good God, then you would be doing this, 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 and this. And here we are, believers, and we're doing the same thing, but to each other. And it's no wonder these people don't want to believe, because they see it. They see us and the way we treat each other. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to tell people, do not keep score. Don't keep score. Believe in the one true God, the one and only creator and lover, the only one that really loves us, the only one that took the bullet for us. Because none of these other peons that say that they are gods will do that for you. The road truly is narrow. But it's not always about law. Analyze yourself, analyze yourself, analyze yourself. How many stars did I get today? How good was I today? I get tired of that. I get tired of that in the church, and I get tired of that with believers, period. Because when you do that, you're doing it just like a pastor would or a church would when they sit there and they judge somebody for their sins. That's why in the song that I put the 2 verses in, the buddy of mine song that I put the 2 verses in the end was, the pastors in the churches, they judge me, but really they don't know Jack, 'cause Jesus is the one who knows me, 'cause you see they don't know Jack. That's why it's about your personal relationship. Those were the 2 verses I put in the song that me and a buddy of mine wrote together. And I'll probably always play that song, even though we're not in a band together. But I'm out here trying to reach people that are saying that Jesus is just a man. The buddy of mine that I was in a band with, Jesus was just a man to him. And we're not in a band anymore because of what's weird is he wanted to sing and play and make all this gospel music, but he didn't believe that Jesus was resurrected. He was just another prophet. Those are the kind of people I'm trying to reach and the kind of people I'm trying to help. But there was nothing I could do for him. All he did was push me away and judge me and get mad at me because I was trying to help him realize that Jesus is more than just a prophet. He's more than... Those are the people I'm going after. I'm not reading the Bible so I can get ammunition to come back at you later and go, oh, how many stars did he get today? I'm not doing that. I am not that kind of person. If you're a believer, it's a simple, graceful walk, guys. No, it's not all cupcakes and rainbows. No, it's not easy being a believer. You have to really love God with all your heart and all your soul. You can't just go to church on Sunday, say a little prayer, and then not ever pray until like 4 years later or something when you really, really need something. You know what I mean? That he wants a real relationship with you. That is what that means in Mark. when he's talking about the two main ones. The main, if the main thing you get out of this is love God with all your heart and all your soul and love each other, then you've got it. Like you've got it. And I hear so many of these people that judge me. I have pastors that judge me. I have teachers that I listen to that judge me. More than just one person. And I get tired of hearing it because it's like, guys, we all believe in Jesus, Yahusha. We all believe. We all have a personal relationship. Why are we sitting here psychoanalyzing each other? It's doing no good. We're supposed to be out here spreading the gospel to people that are being rebellious, trying to pry hard hearts open and soften their hearts to where they can see that they need him. They need him, regardless of how uncool they think it is, or I'm better than God and I can do better, or I don't need him, or screw God, or whatever it is. Because there's a lot of people out there that are just like, if God's real, then there wouldn't, all this bad stuff wouldn't be going on, and so screw God. Or they don't want to believe in Jesus because of the way the Catholics have switched around the Bible, the way, the history of Jesus and what has happened to the Word. But listen, that doesn't mean there's no truth in that. What's weird to me is you guys are willing to believe all this other garbage, like Hercules and Thor and like all this other stuff, evolution, and you guys are willing to believe all of this way out there far-fetched stuff. But Jesus, no, he's way too out there. I don't know, I just don't get it. Like, most of these people that don't believe, and they're like, screw God and screw that, and they don't want to because they're being rebellious. I was like that. I used to be like that. Because I felt the same way. But then once I got out of the church and I realized it's about my personal relationship, I started asking God, come into my life, show me. And he showed me. I cannot even describe to you how many times he showed me. I've been eye to eye with bears in the wilderness, okay? And it was like, long story short, it was like when I was eye to eye to them, I was praying. And the bear saw that I was praying, and he knew that I knew who God was. And he turned away from me. Okay, there's so many times, like I'll say a prayer or whatever, and then I'll go outside, and a feather will be there, just laying just for me. And to me, that symbolizes an answered prayer, or that, God's telling me that he's with me. I got you. I love you. Like, those are the signs that I look for in my life. That's how he personally deals with me. Now, he's not going to do those things. He might not, you know what I mean? Like, he deals with everybody differently, because he all knows our hearts, and he knows what's going to impact us. You know what I mean? So I tell unbelievers out there, if give him a chance, not church and what other people are saying to you about it. Read the Bible yourself and give God a chance. Quit judging God off of what the world says he is. Go out and build a personal relationship with God, Jesus Yahusha, because he's it, guys. Because if you go out there and say, well, I have a personal relationship with God, I'm Hindu or Buddha, or I believe in the forest spirit, or I believe in, I knew a lady that was like, she all into the forest spirit, and then there's whatever, all these different ones, like I know a guy that's Wiccan, and he thinks he's a freaking werewolf, you know what I mean? Like, but I love all these people, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are the people that I'm trying to get to understand that those are the kind of people that are wanting to to live that are not believing in just one God, and these are the people I worry about. Not the people that say they love Jesus Yeshua and, and are reading their Bible, and I'm not worried about you guys. You know what I mean? It'd be like me worrying about these people back in the day. Moses and John and David and stuff. I am not worried about you guys. So I don't know why y'all are worried about me either. You know what I mean? Like, I get tired of it from the church, from just everybody. Everybody does it. I've seen everybody do it. Every single believer I've ever known has done it. Even I have done it. You get all, oh man, I read this in the Bible today, and I read that in the Bible today, and I read this in the Bible. Woo! I got all this ammo. God just told me that Sally down the road, man, he just told me in this Bible verse right here that Sally down the road is not doing good. I mean, come on. Are we keeping score here, or are we loving our neighbors? I mean, really ask yourself that as a believer. And if you're not an unbeliever, then you really need to start building a personal relationship with him and stop using all these worldly things as an excuse. Because a lot of people are like, well, it's not cool, and everything is all LGBT right now, and nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, and blah, 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 blah. That's the real struggle, guys. That's what we're really fighting against. Is these people that think that there's more than one way to heaven. It's okay, you can go be gay and frolic naked in the woods and have sex with a bunch of people around the fire and all these rainbow festivals and trip out and do all this crazy stuff and there's no consequence because, while you're doing it, you're saying, oh, thank you, God, or oh, thank you, Lord, for the beautiful forest and nature and all this stuff. Like, they're into all this other stuff, but the problem with it is not only is it the sex and the Sodom and all of that, it's this whole, there's more than one way to heaven. It's okay if you're gay, as long as you love that person. It's okay, you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? Like, that's where the real issue is, I feel like, with people. That we need to be letting them know that there's one God, one way to heaven, and that's it. There's not more than one way, okay? That's what we need to start telling people. Not all this psychoanalyzing other believers, you know what I mean? Like, say if there was somebody that I knew that was just for example, a gay male, and I helped plant a seed in him, and he was like, you know what, okay, Ashley, you know what, I've been kind of feeling guilty about, being gay, and, it's something I chose to do, and I have been feeling God, impact me, and you've kind of just opened my eyes a little more, and you know what, I think I'm going to confess my sins and try to do better and get away from this lifestyle of, that's not good for me, and I know that God's trying to be there for me, and, am I going to sit there and go a week later and go, okay, so you're not gay anymore and you believe in God, but what about quitting the cigarettes, and what about this, and this in your life, and that in your life? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guy turned away, he got saved, he's not gay anymore, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to do better. Who am I to sit here and go, okay, you turned from, you changed your ways, and you believe in God, and you believe Jesus is the one true God, but yet you're still smoking cigarettes. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm going to only give you about 4 stars, buddy. Sorry, you didn't quite cut the par. We don't have the right to do that. You know what I mean? But we do have the right to discern what's going on in the world. Like, I mean, like AI. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, AI's a good thing, because it's not. You know what I mean? Like, that's evil. Those are things we should be fighting against, not each other. And I get tired of it with the church and other people. Just, God, it's so judgmental. It's so judgmental. And it's just like, Nobody wants to go. Nobody really wants to read the Bible because nobody's really doing it. Nobody's really loving the Lord with all their heart and all their soul. You know what I mean? Like, you are supposed to take time for God every single day. Every single day. And guys, this is a battle. We're in a battle right now for our souls. And it's about feeding your light more than your darkness. It's about walking towards the light more than your darkness. Because listen, all sin, any sin, is a big sin to God. Murder is the same difference as cussing to God. Sin is sin is sin to God. So that's why we don't have the right to keep score. We don't. Now, we have the right to discern that, I don't want to go to Hilltop. Or what is it, Hillsong? Hilltop? I don't know. They did the whole naked cowboy guy on stage and, all these churches that are all more about entertainment instead of actual reading the Bible chapter by chapter and verse by verse and having actual Bible studies and stuff like that. Like, that's what I feel like a real church should be doing. But I'm not going to go in there and go, well, the pastor, he's going to hell, and this girl down the way here that's wearing that, her dress is too short, she's going to hell. This guy over here, he's got tattoos, he's going to hell. This guy over here, he's stoned. I mean, you can tell he's high, he's going to hell. This guy over here, he seems like a pretty legit guy. I'll give him 5 stars. Because I know him, and I know he's, doing better than the rest. I mean, we don't have the right to do that. And we are all the church. All of us. Not a building. It's just hard for people in the world the way that it is right now to see God through us when we're more busy doing this. They can't see it, guys. I tell you right now, when I was being rebellious, I didn't see it. Not only because I didn't want to see it, but because the church was not helping me see it at all. I tell you what had made me see it was Jesus, Yeshua, and Him alone. I was walking down the road, and it was like this still small voice, and I was listening to my Marilyn Manson or whatever I was listening to, just being rebellious, man. And 9 Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson and Tool. And I'm not saying these aren't good bands. I mean, they have good music. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been listening to them at all. But, I mean, Maynard and Marilyn Manson and I can't remember the 9 Inch Nails guy's name. I'm not very good with names, guys. I'll have I don't even one of my favorite bands is Chevelle, and I don't know their names. I'm horrible with names. Horrible. I'm done. I'm done for. I'm done. I only get 1 star. Done for. But you know what I mean? Like, and I noticed that when I truly got saved and I truly turned to the Father, that I don't really want to listen to that stuff anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to listen to that stuff anymore. And yeah, it had a really good beat and it had really good, you know what I mean? Like the music itself had good beat, good rhythm, good harmonies. But it was just so dark. It was so dark. Like, if I was to listen to 9 Inch Nails today, I'd be like, oh my God, oh. Like, it just reminds me of my personal time that I had with Satan. And I used this music as a way of contacting Satan. I was a really bad person before I was saved, you guys, before I was born again. Because when I was a kid, I was saved, but then I rebelled, and I was borderline satanic, guys. I was Wiccan, and that's why I know a lot of people that are Wiccan still, and they're still stuck in that. You know, and I feel so like, I don't want to say I feel sorry for them, because I know that they know who God really is, but they're so stuck into the way that they have been living that they're not willing to change that. And I had to get away from that too, because I got into that it was so cool to listen to these bands, and I got into it was so cool to go to these parties and to get all messed up on drugs all the time and to do all these bad things, you know? And a lot of people that are lost in this world right now, it's the same thing. They're stuck in wanting to be cool and do drugs, and it's the hip thing to be Hindu, and it's the hip thing to be Buddhist, and it's the hip thing to support the rainbow and the LGBT community. It's the hip thing, guys. Yeah, I mean, Tool have, okay, listen, those bands are cool bands. They, like I said, they got good music. They play music well. I'm not bashing them on how well of a musicians that these people are in Tool and stuff like that, okay? And Maynard has a really amazing voice. But when I went to see Tool at concert, I don't go to a whole lot of concerts anymore. That's what my life used to be, guys, was going to all these concerts and getting drunk and high and meeting all these famous people. And it was cool, but at the end of the day, it didn't fulfill what I was really looking for. And now I'm like out in the wilderness, and I'm relying on God to protect me and to guide me in the woods and the forest. Way closer to God than I ever was when I lived like that. But when I went to a Tool concert, I want to say this. When I went to this Tool concert, he got on stage and he got naked and he started like masturbating. I don't know, he must have been on ecstasy or whatever. Ecstasy was a really big deal when I was in high school. And I never did ecstasy because I saw how people were on it, and he did. He got naked on stage and he started masturbating, and he masturbated all over the crowd. And I was like, man, what am I getting myself into? And what am I getting myself into, And like Marilyn Manson is just throwing pig blood all over the people and just coming out in like a naked leotards and Satan horns on his head, and it was filthy, guys. It was filthy. I'm not going to give these guys any credit because it was filthy. Filthy. Filthy, filthy. And nobody's perfect. But those guys know what they're doing when they're on stage and they're acting like that, okay? They know what they're doing. Maynard knows what he's doing when he does those things. They know what they're doing. I know enough about these people and these bands to know what they're doing, especially Perfect Circle and stuff. He knew what he was doing. He knows. They know. They know. But those were the main ones. Those were the main bands that really, like, I can listen to a couple of Tool songs, But I have a really hard time listening to any of them anymore because it's just like, my point is when you're born again, if you're not wanting to do better, then you might want to question yourself. Not question other people, yourself. We need to be looking at, when it comes to us being believers, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror, not look at others. Our job as a servant of Jesus Christ is to spread the good news. That's our job. That's it. Other than love him with all our heart and all our soul and love others. But that's our job. And God is the main judge, not us. But I probably better go and quit yapping because now I've just kind of started yapping instead of being just the message. So, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I got another Indian dwelling to go to. You know what I mean? Like, I have better things to do than to sit here and psychoanalyze everybody. You know, I'm here for the people that are willing to open their hearts up to Jesus Christ and willing to build a relationship with him, because that's where the cornerstone is. And that's where it all starts. And, that's what we're here for, guys. So if you want to spiritually take up your weapon and you want to fire all this ammunition, you better be firing it against the wickedness of this world and not each other, because you ain't doing no good for the Father or for each other. And that's just the long story short. You ain't doing no good for the Father or for each other, going at other people, other believers. So I'm gonna read some of these comments and then I'm gonna go. So it looks like Daria and Ontologic's music. Thanks for coming in and stopping by. Thanks for your comments. Yeah, they admit that they summon these things. It's pretty obvious when you see them in concert. It's different when you're listening to them on their CDs, but when you see them in concert, you can really tell what they're really getting involved in. Yeah, I'll be safe. I'm trying to love people and I'm trying to spread the gospel. Listen, what I'm doing right now, being live on YouTube, it took me a lot of courage to just do this, because when I first started getting more into my walk with God and I was like, man, do I really want to get on YouTube and start proclaiming all this stuff? Do I really want to go out in the world and go to work and start talking about it at work and in my everyday life? I mean, do I really want to do that? Because that's going to create a lot of controversy, and I don't know if I want all this controversy. But at the end of the day, it's not about the controversy. It's about, you never know. One little thing that you say, like there was a girl the other day, and I do this a lot for people, but I don't like talking about it because I don't want to glorify, oh, I help people. But there was a girl the other day, I was putting gas in my car, and she come up, and she looked like she was having a really rough time. And she's like, do you have some change so I can get on the bus to get out of here? And I gave her a hug, and I said, God bless you. Now, I didn't go, oh, do you know who Jesus is? Do you blah, 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 blah? But no, I gave her some money, and I said, here you go. And I gave her a pretty substantial amount. Not a whole lot, but more than what she was asking for. I mean, she was only asking for some change for the bus. And she started crying, and she goes, oh, my God, are you sure you want to give this to me? And I said, yeah, I want you to take it. And I gave her a hug, and she told me, I've been sitting here all week. And she started crying on me. She said, I've been here all week, and ain't nobody helped me. And I just gave her a hug, and I about started to cry, so I gave her a hug, and I was like, listen, just take the money, do what you need to do, get on the bus, get you some food, do what you gotta do to get home, girl. She told me, I've been trying to get home for 2 weeks, and ain't nobody helped me. But I didn't sit there and Bible bash her. I just told her, well, just know that God loves you. And I gave her a hug, and I said, and he's taking care of you, and he loves you, so, so God bless you. You know what I mean? Like, all it could take is that little simple thing for somebody to build a real relationship with the Father. That's all it could take. And I only brought it up to say that those little things like that could be all it takes for somebody to be like, maybe God really does care. Maybe God really does care about me. Maybe God really is there. Maybe God really does exist. You know what I mean? Like, people don't say those things out in the open. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of believers, they want all these badges. I got this badge and that badge, and whoo, look at all these badges that I got for all these people that I've saved, and or what, however they say it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about all that. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't. Yes, there will be treasures in heaven. But that's when I get to heaven. I would rather people, you know what I mean? Like, I would rather people know who he is now than to sit here and psychoanalyze each other, making ourselves look bad from the outside looking into these people that are unbelievers. We need to start being true examples. True examples. Not just bashing everybody, because we're all sinners. We are all sinners. And everybody says that, oh, we're all sinners. But yet we go right back to this. And I'm bad about doing this too. We go right back to who can debate it out the best, who knows the Bible the most, who knows the Father the most. I'm telling you guys, it's not about that. And if you think that it is, and you say that, a lot of people say, well, no, it's not about that, no. But yet they go right back to this. Tired of it. Oh, so I don't know what else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get you guys to realize that it's just not worth it. And you're not and you're not really helping people. Love and peace. I gotta go. Oh my God. Excuse me.